Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube. Myself, Mark Carlaw, and Riley Finch, ahead of a massive game for West Ham today. We are away at Wolves in a. It's. I mean, Riley, I genuinely, I can't think of a game that's been bigger really this season. I think in terms of, magnitude, in terms of who we're playing against, what it could do to our season if we get a result, and of course we've got to mention the manager's position as well. You imagine it would be quite under threat if well, it is anyway. Let's be honest, but if we lose today, then you can imagine the pressure will be ramped up severely. So before we go into, obviously we'll talk about the build up to the match and things and team news and things. Firstly, Riley, how are you? And secondly, what do you reckon of the of today's game?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. As you can see, I've moved back down to my uni flat, which is nice and warm. Definitely no broken boilers going on around here, which is lovely to see in the
value for money, mate. Value for money.
Weather. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame moving back because obviously I'm not allowed to put anything on the walls or anything, so I'm not really allowed to create a decent background.
Well, the prison authorities are like that. They're quite particular that you can't put prison cells up. So yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm all good, mate. Just working, just doing the old uni degree, but I'll be a lot better if West Ham get a result at Wolves. I was honestly hoping for the vintage Mark Cole or must-win game, but you've refrained from using it today.
No, I don't want to say must-win because I feel like they say it every game, don't we? We always say, "Oh, it's a must-win. This is a must-win. This is a really big must-win." I mean, yeah, it is. Obviously, of course, it is. But I mean, for me, it's probably not as much must-win. I'd probably say it's just must not lose. Cannot lose this game. I don't think. I think if West Ham were to get a point today and then get 3 points against Everton, I probably wouldn't consider that a disaster. But ultimately, we do know the fact that we need to win. Like, if West Ham can pull off 3 points today and then go and get 3 points against Everton, the table will look very different. The mood will have completely shifted, and you'd start looking up the table a little bit and feeling a bit. We'd probably looking forward to Newcastle then and thinking, Joe, what? We're probably going to give them a game, but there's a long way to go before that. Firstly, then on our opponents, mate, Wolves. I quite like Wolves actually. I quite like them. I quite like their model. I quite like their way they play. I like their players. They've got some really good, talented players, and it's a bit of a strange seeing them in 19th. I wasn't really expecting them to be that low this season, but I do think they will get out of it. I do think they will. I think they're pretty good. I quite like their model as well. This Portuguese link and all these players they bring in. I think they're pretty good. But what's your feelings on them and their opponents today? Are you foreseeing a very tough game for David Moyes?
Well, I mean, they've done what we didn't really have the balls to do. They sacked Bruno Lage. They brought in Locatelli. And they seem to have had a little bit of a revitalisation under him. They haven't really changed systems too much. They still opt for the old wing-back formation.
Yeah.
They are really struggling for goals at the moment. They're really struggling I think they're really struggling for a striker. They've got Diego Costa up top sometimes, Raul Jimenez, but they're really struggling for that focal point up top. I think in the midfield, though, that is where they are strongest. You've got Ruben Neves and Mateus Nunes, who, I mean, that is some midfield. That is a midfield that could probably get into most.
Yeah, I would agree. Neves especially.
Yeah, and considering, I mean, I think we should be playing a three in the midfield today to negate that. Having someone on Neves on the edge of the box, so he's not going to be doing these crazy shots from outside the box. But then I also think the trouble with Wolves is that they will try and stretch you. Aït-Nouri on the wings. If Adama Traore is playing up against Creswell, I mean, that's a mismatch in itself, isn't it? So I really don't know how we should be setting up today, because I always think we play quite poorly against three at the backsides. But then I also think we play quite poorly against these really good pivots in midfield, because Souček is just so weak. And then Rice bombs forward too much, and it just leaves too many gaps in behind for people like Neves and Nunes to exploit. So it'll be a really interesting game. I do think we'll get the result. I do hope Skamaka's fit. Again, coming back is a big bonus for us. I think he'll probably start again. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a result, mate. But it's a very difficult game to approach with Wolves. I honestly don't know what I would opt for. In terms of formation and personnel today.
It is a tricky one. I think you're right in terms of. I think they're not overly strong in attack really this season. I think that's been a bit of a problem for them. Like you say, I think they do need to address that. Diego Costa for me, he's not the player he was, from a few years ago when he was with Chelsea. There's a reason he's playing for Wolves, in my opinion, and where he is at the moment. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think as long as we, as you say, Gerd back in, I think the positive news is that Zuma's going to be in the squad as well. I don't know if he's starting, but I believe that he's in the squad definitely. So that's a big push plus for us. I think today's battle, the key today will be the midfield, like you say. That's where they're strongest. If we can try and nullify their, as you say, Nunes, and we can just keep it, just keep them under wraps, I think we've got a good chance. And also as well defensively, they if you look at their stats, they're pretty good actually. They do. I think they're quite high in terms of the tackle success rate and things like that. So we've got to be really at it today. I've got a really pit in my stomach feeling we're going to be okay today. I've got a feeling we're going to put out a good performance and a result. I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm brimming with confidence, but it's just a feeling that on the back of the last two results and the fact that Wolves played midweek in the cup to Forest, which they lost on penalties, I think that could also play in our favour, and I hope it does. That they're a little bit jaded from that game, and maybe that's not their confidence slightly. But let's make no mistake, they will be aware of. They'll be more than aware of the magnitude of today's game. It's massive for them too. We're only a point ahead of them. They'll know they can leapfrog us. It'll be a big confidence boost for them if they can beat us. So this is a big game. Big game. Like I say, I probably wouldn't be too upset with a point. I wouldn't be that upset. Although I've been saying for weeks we need to win these games. These are crucial, and it is crucial. Don't get me wrong. We still need to win, but looking on the balance of it, where we are at the moment, to go away today and get something would be a good result. But in terms of Scamacca, that's going to be the key, isn't it? I mean, is it going to be? Would you opt for Scamacca then if he was available over Mikel Antonio?
Well, it depends, because I can't tell how Wolves are going to set up, because obviously if I'm Wolves, I would just let us have the ball, because we're so bad at carving out chances. We're much better on the counter. But then I also think that if Wolves are going to sit back, like I think they might, and then hit us on the counter, Scamacca's perfect for that, because if he's going to operate in the almost like the little pocket between the back line and the midfield, you know, he's always been so good at shooting from outside the box. I think if we've got a player like that who's kind of almost acting as a number 10, I guess, but I think he'll be really, really good. And obviously, you know, he doesn't score many headers, but his stats are in the air. If we were to swing a ball in, I think Antonio is a much better striker, probably on the break. I think Mac is much better with his link-up play. Antonio is a much more elusive striker. You know, he'll switch with Bowen and he'll allow him to cut inside, and then, you know, obviously he's just raw power and pace, isn't he? And I don't think we'll get the chance to attack a high line today. So I definitely think Scamacca is who I would opt for if we have the choice.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Another thing as well with I've noticed with Wolves, I think their right back is it Semedo. I'm just looking at here. I think he's been pretty poor for them. I think I don't think he's been over. I think he can get quite exposed. So I actually think the left side today, whether it be Ben Rama it's going to be.
Will he start?
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? I mean, he's got to get that right, because if we can expose that their right back situation there, I think that could be quite key. And like you said, if we can get the right balls into Scamacca, if he starts, I'm guessing if he's fit, he will. Then that could be our way that we win the game. At the end of the day, West Ham we have to give them everything today. They've got to go out and fight, because it is going to be one of them games. I can't imagine it being the most beautiful game of football. I think it's going to be quite a sluggish affair. The weather as well, looking out there, doesn't look great. Very windy, wet and cold. So you can't imagine a beautiful game of football today. So it might well be a bit of a repeat of the Leeds game, a bit of a roll your sleeves up, get stuck in. I wasn't impressed with them at our place, Wolves. I thought they were really poor. But to be fair, they have changed a fair bit since then, and their tails are up a little bit. But that's my kind of feeling. I'm kind of, I don't know. It's a strange one, isn't it? Today, I'm quite nervous, but then there's a part of me that's still got this gut feeling we're going to turn this around. I've got a feeling that this could be today, be the game that we go right. You know, we're back on a decent path. In terms of then the predictions, mate, I kind of have to ask you then. What I hate doing this really, because I feel like we jinx it sometimes, but it's got to do it. Riley, what's the score going to be today, mate? It's
going to be 2-1 West Ham, mate. I think Wolves will probably score first, and then we're going to hit back, and it's going to be 2-1 West Ham. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw, but maybe I'm jinxing it. But I just don't see. I think this game is just so important for West Ham. It's also Declan Rice's birthday today.
It is.
Happy birthday, Dec. But I just see so much riding on this game. I mean, if you can't pull out a result for David Moyes now, today, then he's either A, lost the dressing room, or we're not good enough. And I don't think we're not good enough. So realistically, we just have to get a result today. We have to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be done. Got to win the game. My gut feeling is 3-1 West Ham today. Don't know why. I've had it in my head all week. I've just got this feeling we're going to turn it today. If we don't win, if it is a defeat, and if it's a bad defeat, is it the end for David Moyes? Do you think they're going to pull the trigger? I don't think they will, but
no. I mean, like I've always said, they probably will give him at least the easy games to try and revitalise his season. There's no one available right now that they would be able to appoint instantly. I think maybe if like Potter was sacked by Chelsea this weekend, maybe you'd see Moyes leaving, or if a manager became available, maybe. But I think he'll at least get to the end of January. The fact that he's been given the January transfer window to try and sign players, whether it's all just kind of word of mouth, if he's been given that opportunity, clearly they still have a decent amount of faith in him, because they wouldn't let him spend more money if they're just going to sack him at the end of the month, or if they're planning on sacking him anytime soon. So I think David Moyes' time is a lot longer than people expect.
Can I ask you quickly before we conclude this then? And I kind of wish I should have asked you this earlier. The back line today, Agurd, you'd imagine, will be starting. I believe he's fit, so there's no issue with there. In terms of Zuma, he is in the squad. I think at the moment, I'm not trying to reveal anything. I'm not saying I know anything for certain, but I believe he could possibly be on the bench today. If that is the case, who would you have partnering with Agurd in the back? Because don't forget, Dawson is not in the squad. Dawson, as we are going to talk about in another video, is out of the squad because it looks like he's going to be moving on. In fact, probably more likely he's going to be going to Wolves, hence why he's not in the squad today. So who would you have partnering him today?
What if Zuma's not fit?
If Zuma's on the bench, if Zuma's not fit, if Zuma's not going to play, who would you have partnering Agurd if Dawson's not available?
Well, I don't trust Kira at centre-back anymore, to be honest. I think he's too weak on the ball. He gets turned too easily. And, if you stick Jimenez or Costa, you'd say just stick on Kira and just roll him, because he's going to roll over like a bag of shit. Like, it's so easy to roll him. Then I think Ogbonna's sort of semi-fit. But
I actually think, and to be honest, I actually thought Ogbonna's played well since in recent games. He's come back. I think didn't he play against Brentford? I think he did.
I think he did. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did. I think he had. But when I watched, I thought he played quite well. I'm just trying to remember if that was the game with Leeds. I'm pretty certain it was the Brentford game, and he played well. He looked good. So I actually think it would be. I agree with you. I don't think I'd play Kira there. I think he looks very vulnerable at the moment. I don't know whether he's lost on confidence or he just needs to get a bit used to this league. I'm not sure, but. I agree. I don't think I'd be putting him there. I think I'd go with Ogbonna, especially also with an experienced head. We probably do need that today. But someone that just been there and done it, knows how to keep their cool and deal with this, because we're going to need that today. I think definitely.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to start a right back or left back, but I imagine it'll be Creswell, and I imagine it'll probably be Soufal. I do wonder maybe if he's going to start Johnson at centre back potentially, but. The only thing for me is I actually think David Moyes is going to opt for a wing-back formation, to be honest with you.
Oh, but you think 3 at the back and then the 2?
Yeah, he has this thing often where I think he's going to do one of 2 things.
So that'd be Creswell and then Emerson, then I'm guessing. So Creswell
I think the only reason maybe he wouldn't do that is because we've got a lack of centre-backs at the moment. But he has this thing where when we play wing-back sides, he tends to sort of replicate it. Either that, or he sticks Fornals at left wing, and then he comes back as a left wing back on when we're not in possession. But I think Benrahma's undroppable at the moment, so surely.
He has to play Benrahma, in my opinion. I know we haven't really touched on that too much, but Benrahma, he has to be the starting in this game. I can't see how he can't be. He's the only player at the moment that seems capable of scoring goals at the moment for West Ham.
Yeah,
Scamacca is obviously returning from injury, so it's a little bit harsh to say that he's not in form, because he needs to get back. We will talk about as well Mikel Antonio's situation as well in another video, because I think that's a topic that needs to be discussed. So yeah, mate. So we're both saying. So I think for the first time ever, I think we're both saying a West Ham win, and we're away from home, and it's a game that we've all been kind of dreading. Let's say so. It's a little bit of optimism on this channel. I quite like it. It's a bit refreshing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's blind optimism, but
Well, the joke is this will go out within the next sort of hour, and the game will then kick off 2 hours later. Then we'll both be going, "Oh no, well, I'll want to take the video down probably immediately." So let's hope that's not the case.
Yeah, let's hope it's not the case, mate.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Cheers.